All right, I'm live.
You you good?
I'm good.
Now I'm
100%.
confused. Who are we doing this for? Are we doing this for my audience or yours?
This is all for your audience.
Oh,
Yeah, this is your audience.
so how do they find me?
Because this is I don't have a format for this. I'm at your whim as your guest. So I don't know what I'm
But
in for.
I'm a guest on your show and you're a guest on my show, and we're both guests on each other's show.
Yeah, essentially.
And we're doing both shows right now. Has that ever been done before?
Think of mine more as like it's your show. I'm just getting footage from it. You are allowing me footage from your podcast.
So you're my B reel.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Do we give him the classic intro? I don't. It's not there. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another episode. Another episode. Oh man, anxiety's coming back. Another episode of not that. Let's go, dude. It's not. Let's not. Anyways, if you know Let's Go, dude, you know who your hosts are. I'm Jared, and he's Zach.
I'm Zach.
People, if you're wondering what is this right now, I don't know. I mean, so I have a podcast. Zach, you have a podcast,
I do. I
and
just
we have
started it.
we just started. I think your episode hit mine, but you're not on Spotify yet.
No, I'm not. I'm not yet.
See that? I wouldn't say that disinterests me, but um, like I like my Spotify.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't use Spotify enough, so I don't really know what the app looks like when you're searching for people or like discoverability. But
Well,
I mean, from what I hear,
yeah,
it's great for podcasts. I'm just
yeah,
used to
because
YouTube. I know YouTube. I don't know Spotify.
I mean, here's a great way. You just plug in a podcast, like let's say, I don't know, Steel and June, a podcast. Okay, bro. That's what listen, bud. Hi. For everyone watching this right now, I do apologize for my
Yeah,
cat.
for everyone listening, I'm watching the cat crawl across Jared's shoulder and chest. You know, there's a very specific reason. I love my dog to pieces, but he's not in here. I wish he
Listen,
was.
I can't I mean I could shut him out and then they'll go into the other room and cry and
Yeah,
annoy my
that's
wife. At least two of them will. The other one really doesn't care so much. But yeah, so we're here.
really excited to be back on. By the way, it's been a while since I've been on a
it's
podcast
been
with you, so I'm really excited to see what you have
bro,
in store
it's
for me, man. Content that's been created for me. That is the dream come true.
bro, it has been yeah, too long. Too long. We gotta stop that. But yeah, glad to have you by. So I guess I'll start with this. This is Steel and June, a podcast. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, I believe. I gotta get good at where everything actually is going. And then you can find me on social media somewhere. And that's like my weak point. Like the easy point for me, believe it or not, is recording and doing these episodes. And you, what's your venture? Where are we plugging?
Well, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Zach with the startup company Fox Physique, a company for personal training and men's wellness. So basically, life coaching. I don't really have a catchphrase yet, but you can catch me searching Fox Physique on nearly any social media, Google Maps, YouTube, eventually Spotify. Maybe when I get like 20 episodes out. And then
Oh,
I guess
yeah,
if you're looking for me
definitely.
gaming, then Fox DPS. But that's kind of put on pause for the most part.
We're dead. We're that is. I'm yeah. And then to dig up and unearth embarrassing episodes, look up Let's Go Dude.
I think those are great, man.
Yeah. The hosts really got something going for him. Yeah, cool. Cool. Fox Physique. Physique
Physique, yeah. Physique. Physique.
with a Y.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I would have like went more bodybuilding, but if you look at the bodybuilders now, they look like muscle balloons. So physique kind of more implies that more like classic look, slender, but muscular, but not like massive, just hideous looking alien human beings.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. So yeah, man, it's been like you said, a while since we've been on a podcast together, and I just want to have you on my end on Steel and June, a podcast, and really talk about friendship, you know. What friendship does for people, um what it really means to have a good friend. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get your script.
I don't have a script. No. Although I did write down some talking points because I kind of have been like, I don't know, just because of you, I've been looking up like different ways to be a good guest for a podcast. And I got some really great ideas on how to be featured on podcasts. So I do have that, although I don't have your script. Which, for the most part, I don't want it because I trust you to go off the script, and I'll just go along with you for the ride.
Right. Well, usually when the host, which would be me in this point, talks to the guest, which let's just say that's you, then I start by asking a question like, what's it mean to be a friend? You know,
Yeah.
something to that nature, and then I'll finish, and that's when you talk.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to go for your format. So, any questions you have for me, I'll do my best to answer in my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, what does it um, what does it mean? I guess is a really simple question. What does it mean to be a good friend?
Man, and it's funny because like we had a quick chat before we got on here too, and I do feel like people have lost the definition for that a little bit because I guess the problem is that modern society and people in it, they hear the word friend and they associate it to friendly, which is kind of like just being nice and kind. But to me, at least as a man, and I don't know what camaraderie is to women, so I can't really speak to that. um, I would think it would be similar, but maybe like a little bit softer. I do feel like, yes, we have the kindness toward one another as men, but at the same time, like everyone has learned in society how to tiptoe around people and not offend them. And I feel like of course we should avoid offending people. Like we shouldn't be offending people on purpose. Like we should do our best to mind other people, but we shouldn't be like actually afraid to hurt someone's feelings. Because I feel like the more we're afraid to do it, the more likely we are to do it. And instead we should just be like forward with each other, because from something that I've learned, I guess in the last few months, is that iron sharpens iron with men. And we kind of need each other to tell each other our faults, not just our character defects, but also, if like you see me post a video and I'm not looking at the camera, or I'm doing something that you think is not really going to help me, you're telling me to help me out, and telling me like, hey, like you're doing this thing, man, and it sucks. And I just want you to know that, because I want you to be successful. I'm not trying to like hurt you with that. So I feel like that is something that we really lack. On top of the fact that, like I said before, that men really just push themselves away from other men. I feel like women do so good at coming together and supporting each other, and men, for some reason, push themselves away from other men, and they try to like put other men down when we should be lifting each other up and actually having real friends, man. So I do feel like there's a problem with that nowadays, but that's how I feel about it. I don't know if I answered the question properly, or if I just complained a lot about how it's done.
No, like,
But
and that's the thing.
I think it comes down to iron sharpens iron for me, man.
And yeah, I think there's a fine line there too with um busting each other's chops and going too far with it.
Yeah, like
Like,
constructive criticism versus like just being a jerk, basically.
sure, sure. Um, Not so much that, but it's like you and I do it all the time. Um, where we, joke like men usually joke with each other for the most part, you know.
Hmm.
But I mean, there is a fine line where a lot of the times, I guess we don't know sometimes where to draw the line and be like, oh no, this person needs help. My friend needs help here.
There is a fine line, right? Dude, I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, because I have a theory in life that like we do everything on purpose, whether it's conscious or subconscious. I really feel like men bust each other's chops because like we subconsciously understand that we need that to harden ourselves against the nonsense that we're going to deal with in the world. And we do it in like a really soft way, but we kind of like toughen each other up in that way. It's easy to go too
That's
far, but
really
I do feel like we kind of prepare each other for the world when we do that, especially like
it.
in high school, man. We do it like crazy because we're about to go out into the world and get jobs and stuff. Like that's how I feel about that. I don't know. Do
And
you?
that's the crazy. Now that you say that, yeah, I kind of, or it's at work with a bunch of coworkers,
Hmm.
and we joke about the workplace environment or whatever your field is. I'm sure every office out there, has a joking system like that. And Yeah, and it's easier, like it's easy to be around people who don't who know how to take a joke, I would say.
Yeah.
Men and women. I work with, both, and it can be a really stressful job at some point, but um, it makes the shift go by a lot easier if we can joke with each other, the way where other people will look on and be like, "Can you believe what they just said to you?" Like, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah, dude, you'd be surprised some of the stuff that gets said in my office. I think there's a little bit more of a line what people are allowed to say to me, but they're pretty crazy with each other.
Yeah.
So we mess
Yes.
with each other, and my coworkers will have some weird story. They'll have like some weird song like playing on the radio. Like,
Hmm.
what's a good example? What was it? Literally just happened. It was oh yeah, it's raining men, and the guy that owns the gym is like, "Hey Zach, you left your CD in the player again over the weekend." Like, yeah, sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Wow.
I'm not sure
Um
why that was playing in the gym in the first place. That does not make me want to exercise, but
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um yeah, I guess we're kind of going in reverse order here a little bit, but man, I'm trying to figure out in my head how long we have actually been friends. And the best answer I could come up with is a long time.
yeah, a long time. We've known each other for longer, but I would like to count from where we've been friends, and I think that we started becoming friends in um, our English teachers class, right?
A little bit before that.
A little before that.
I'd like to say the Bosie's bus.
Okay, so I mean,
So, I mean, well over
13,
10
14
years.
years, right?
Something maybe a
Around,
little bit longer, 15, 16, I would
yeah.
say.
Dude,
Um
we're old farts now, man. We are old farts.
and
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um let's see. Yeah, because we met, I don't know if you remember, but we met at uh the Braves.
I miss that
Like
place. I would go back if there was like an adult brace. I would 100%
which
go like a men's
for
retreat. Come on,
for yeah, for the audience at home, you don't know, that's a local Christian camp uh from the area we grew up in. And it
paintball and
was
high ropes, and of course like church 3 times a day.
and
Enjoyable
we
church though.
actually I don't know if you remember. Yeah, they had the tabernacle.
To me, because like to me when I was that age, I didn't like church, but I loved going to church there. I
Huh.
don't remember why, but I loved it. I really liked it.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember the exact camp, but I do. It was one of the day camps, where we got dropped off and left during the day or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think I told you this story. I'll tell it again. And this is my first memory of you is we go to camp this whole week and you're kind of in our group. And at the end of the week for the kids camp, they had a water slide. It was it was always on a Friday. And you used to wear this headband, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Remember the headband?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some half
And
mohawk, headband and long braid,
yes.
right? Braid back
Yes.
then, or was my hair already cut? I think I had a
I
braid.
You had a braid and and the whole week bro, I thought I'll wait until you finish your drink.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Literally, dude, the whole week I thought you were a girl. Yeah. Yeah. I thought you were a girl, and then we go to get changed. The boys changed in the church for the water slide or whatever. I was like, what is this girl doing in here with us? And why doesn't she have a top on?
I mean, dude, I don't
And
blame you because I had long,
yeah, you
I
had
had
long
long
hair.
hair. I've got little ears. I was very skinny, so
And very pale.
yeah,
Like,
pretty pale. So like I was a pretty fair child. I had very fair features for a boy.
and then then a few years
So
later we met. Because that stopped going for a couple of years. I
it's like I
didn't go
want to
every
be
year.
upset, but then I'm like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we went to a couple of the teen camps together.
Mhm.
And then we started riding the same school bus, sat in the same seat. So we dealt with each other for like every day for entire school
I think
year.
that's a good way to explain it. Dealt with each other.
Yeah, there were some fun moments and not so fun moments. And I think we did that for almost 2 years, I want to say. Rode the
Yeah.
same bus. And then senior year we had the same English class. So
Well, yeah, that's why I guess when I think of like how long I've been friends with you, like um, I don't know, a lot of my friends, because I've always been the type of person that moves like really fast
yeah.
with like if I'm gonna like you or not, like it's like that, versus like our friendship is really different for me at least because like I think out of all my friends, you're the only one that was like a really slow starting friendship. Like our friendship took, to
Yeah.
me at least, it took all the way up until English class for me to like fully be like, yo, like this guy's my friend, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Like like we were
I
cool
look
with
at
each
that
other
differently.
and like we had like we were acquaintances and like we were buddies, but like in English class, I was like, yo, this is my brother. You know what I mean? Versus like I have a couple friends that was like, yeah, this is my friend. Boom. But
Yeah.
to me, but interestingly enough, though, like you're the one that's stuck around the longest. So slow to start, slow to last. So maybe it's that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. There was that time where you dropped off the face of the earth
I don't
and
even know if that sentence made sense, but
yeah. 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 And then I really enjoyed like it was kind of cool because the way I felt in, I mean, as you know it, like um some of my friends had left like the state or my life. Um, or I lost connection with them. And then like getting, I think you just moved back to Arizona or whatever,
Mhm.
um, for good. And like getting to try to learn how to play games like Fortnite with you. And, I know that was like off and on, but when, the shutdown happened, like that's when it really kind of went, you know, we're more than just gamer friends or whatever. And we started talking more about life and trying to do the dual stream, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Um, and really just trying to pick each other up. But yeah, it's really been like it was really odd to me, because it was like, you know, there you were, you fell kind of off the face of the earth, you came back.
I know I
Came,
went. You said you have friends that left state, man. I went all in. I left the country.
yeah, yeah, you left the country, and
Been a terrible gypsy.
yeah, yeah, and we have wow. It, it's really like when I think back on our friendship, like, yeah, I guess you said it was English class, and I'm gonna say like it- it's kind of weird because at some points I felt like it was a really unlikely friendship, and not like, yeah, I know you from here, here, and through this person and that person, like knew who you were, but it was the fact that when the dust settled and at the end of the day, it was like, oh, you're still here, you know, and hey, you want to play a game and,
Hmm.
kind of reconnect. And
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of in common, right?
no, well, I mean, we
Like,
had a lot in common.
well,
Like,
I think back then. So this is how I see it, right? Like, we had a lot in common, but we just didn't know it, because like you were in sports and I was mostly just writing all the time, and like you
yeah,
were
I mean,
writing, but I didn't know that, and like I was in the writing group and you weren't because you were in the sports group, so we didn't like act on anything that we had in common. So I think in that way I can see what you're talking about from my point of view, how it's not really a
yeah.
likely friendship,
Well, and
you
that's
know.
not, I mean, I don't take it that case because our school you know, where we went to school was so small that it was hard not to get different what people would call cliques um intertwined, and so
Hmm.
the musicians would hang out with people that were sports jocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was all, and everyone, it seemed like everyone in our class played video games, and there was the skateboarder group, and the bands, like the 7 metal bands that we had in high school.
Dude, it
Yeah.
was all about metal.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
every
why people were just really upset about those cornfields. Had to scream
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of where we grew up, though. It was, and I never really thought about it, but one of the teachers at BOCES whose daughter went to Pulaski, but they went to the Sandy Creek talent show for something, and there was like you know, several bands, and they're all screamo bands and stuff. And she just didn't understand. Like,
I don't
yeah.
understand, man. Everyone in that school listened to Keith Urban, so why is everyone a screaming band?
Oh, no, no, no. That's not the case. I didn't listen to Keith.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it was a country
Yeah.
school, country listening school. Interesting
No, those were
choice.
only the bus rides. And listen, those bus rides made me hate country music for the most part.
Yeah, me too.
Like I'm not gonna give out any names, but the morning show on one of the local stations, it just that made me hate, like, I use hate as like a soft word. It's not a strong like disdain for the people, but it was like the one lady on the country morning show. I was like, I thought she was special. I'll use the word special, like unique, and not for my listening taste. Like, um, very talented. She'd been on the radio for years, but just, I guess what I'm really trying to say without getting myself into trouble here is when I'm not a morning person, so when I have to get up and listen to something like that at 6 o'clock in the morning, I just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to listen to something that doesn't make any sense at all. So heavy metal.
Yeah.
Blair Lincoln Park at 6 in the morning.
Is Linkin Park metal?
No, but I mean, they're I don't know what you would call them.
Well,
Listen,
everything.
music genre is the weirdest thing ever because there's so many. And so there's not just rock and country and your dog barking in the background.
That's country.
Yeah, there's not just that. Oh man, love it. That's not getting edited out, by the way.
Understandable.
There's so many different types of genres of music that like it just makes no sense to me. Like disco. I was trying to figure out disco the other day.
Good luck, dude.
Bro, yeah, you're telling me because they had the song "We Built This City" by Starship,
Yeah,
Jefferson Starship.
I actually do.
Yeah, they had that in the disco playlist, and I'm like, wait a second, that's not disco, that's classic rock, at least to my understanding. And the dog has entered the room.
Can't stop him. He can open doors.
Can he open doors to let himself out? Okay,
Yeah, that too. He's awful. He's absolutely awful.
Come on, Neo. I want to see you open that closet door right behind you, bud. Have you taught him the trick?
What's that?
Like, you should teach him a command and be like, open door.
No, I'm not gonna. He already is terrible with it. I'm not gonna teach him to do it even better. I'm not gonna. I've never had to encourage him to do it, and I don't want to know what it looks like when I do.
Listen, man. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. All
I
right?
am. I'm here to listen.
Hear me out. So you take Neo for a ride out to the out to your local food store, grocery store. All right. You come home, you got a handful of groceries and a baby. All right. And you're like, oh crap, I don't know how to open this door with my hands this full, and I don't have the elbow. I came to the elbow thing, and then you just say, Neo, open door.
Well, I didn't make the baby on my own. I have a wife.
Okay. But someday you're going to wish that you taught the dog how to open that door. Maybe.
No, yeah, no. Probably not. Maybe, though. Maybe.
I mean, if it's any consolation, my cats kind of get how to open doors.
Yeah.
And drawers, and I don't understand it. Yeah, seriously, today I hid some cat treats in one of our drawers.
Oh, dude, cats are good at opening drawers.
Yeah, I don't know how. The next thing I knew is this bag of cat treats was on the floor, and one of our cats had it. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to put it in this cabinet. And it did not stay safe in the cabinet either. Yeah. Those cats are something else.
Yeah, they're clever.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk. I guess we could go. Let's talk friendship on um how important is it to have those spiritual friends, those based faith grounded friends?
To me, it's extremely important, man. And to the point, by the way, I love your shirt,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of part of it. My favorite band for 15 years. Maybe more, actually. I don't know. I've been listening to them for a while.
I think I feel like I had to like get you back on the hook.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's true. I think I had to get you back on the hook for my shirt is Demon Hunter, by the way. If you like rock music, go check them out.
Hmm.
They're absolutely amazing.
They are. They're really good, dude. And yeah, I like them. You don't even have to be into metal. They've got so many different sounds for all the same
Yeah,
band. But yeah, how important do I think it is to have spiritual friends? Um, I think it's extremely important. Yeah, it's just really important. There's a quote that I keep hearing over and over again for like the last 2 or 3 years, and that's you are the sum of the five people in your life that you spend the most time with. So the five people that you spend the most time with is a math equation that if you add their personalities together, like the things that you guys discuss and how you guys interact with each other, makes up who you are and how you behave in life.
fair.
Because I'm always very, I don't really care for, I guess I'm a really independent person, obviously, um,
Hmm.
to my detriment for the longest time. And I'm kind of only now kind of realizing how that's failed me, like heavily. And very independent minded people go around and they say the same thing. They all say the same thing too. I can't be influenced, man. I can't be influenced. There's no way that I'm just going to do that because my friends are doing it, or I'm not going to behave a certain way just because everyone else is. And in reality, like people that say that are probably the most easily influenced out of all of us because they actually believe it.
Yeah,
Versus like the person who says, you know what, I should probably be careful what I put in my head because it's going to influence the way that I act. Like that person is probably less influenced. Um, but I bring that up because that is basically exactly why I think it's important to surround yourself with like-minded people. And if you are a spiritual person, and for me that's Christianity and walking in the footsteps of Jesus, at least to the best of my human capability, then I have to have at least a handful of people that I trust that have that in common. My wife has that in common with me. You have that in common with me. Even one of my coworkers does. And I think that's important, man, because I can be influenced by the the people that I spend time with. So I might as well make sure that it's going to be a good influence.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, when you were saying that, it kind of brought back some old memories because my mom especially would tell me, you know, pretty much what you're saying. Be careful on who you hang out with. You know, stuff I mean, both my parents on stuff that I'm listening to. Uh, and when it comes from a parent and you're a teenager, at that point, your listening mode to your parent is like turned off.
Mhm.
and you don't really see how it affects you. And there does come a point in time where you realize, oh yeah, this situation isn't good for me, or this person really wasn't the best of friends,
Hmm.
and you don't have that ride and die mentality, with maybe your childhood friend that you thought you would. And that I think is the hardest thing. And maybe because we share same experiences, unfortunately, uh, all too often. But maybe you can expand on this a little. Like, sometimes life takes us all in different directions. Like you and I were disconnected for um a few good like 4 or 5 years out of high school, and then you came back and we finally got connected again.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So what hmm trying to think how I was gonna ask my question. Yeah, what are the like losing that friend was how do you handle losing that friendship that you thought that could have been there or should still be there, you know?
A specific
And
one, like
no, not a specific one. I don't
you mean just
think
like losing a
in
friend,
general.
basically when I don't want to lose a friend,
Right, yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
let's go with that because I don't want to get like too specific or talk about anyone in particular.
Yeah, dude, it's
But
weird
I know.
because like I don't know if you know this about me, man, but um, I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. I've gone in like a U-shaped pattern in my life, I guess, because a lot of things when I was younger, I started here, right? And when I was younger, I thought that I had everything right. And of course I didn't, but I didn't know what I had wrong. I thought everything that I knew was right. And then when I got older, um, but not much older, when I became like maybe 20, I made this kind of pattern because then I thought, all right, well, I don't have everything right, so I must have everything wrong. And I need to become a whole new person. And when I tried to do that, it didn't work. And I'm like, why is this not working, man? And I realized, like, as I learned more, I looped back around, back to where I was before, and realized that I had a lot right, but just not in, you know, maybe just like some of my viewpoints were just a little bit off and need to be adjusted,
Right.
but not just thrown out, because like we never really change, we just adjust and become better according to what God wants for us, because from the moment that we're conceived, we have our personality already planned out for us and what we're going to do. So that's like a forward, I guess, a little like rant to like forward. What I want to say is that when I was younger, when I was like a teenager, young, I didn't really give a crap about any of my friendships. So it's like, all right, well, if this person's not my friend anymore, then like goodbye. On to the next. I don't need friends because I'm like walking around in nature and writing or making music or learning drums. So the drums are my friends, or the guitar is my friends, or like the pencil's my friend. That's my real friend. So if you don't want to be around for that, then I don't give a dang. um, and then when I became 20 and someone stopped being my friend, I got upset about it. And I was like, because I got sick of being a loner and it didn't feel balanced. But now, I guess to answer your question was like, how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like now I'm coming full circle and realizing like I had it right the first time, but not in such a cold, vengeful way. Is that I really kind of look at the big picture and I'm realizing that for me it's God. And if like I guess whoever listens to your end or my end, um, I hope that you have something bigger than you that guides you through life. But for me, it's God of the Judeo-Christian religion, and I realize, man, that every friend that I have and every friend that I don't have right now is there at the right time, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like that big space between like when I first became like small friends with you and now we're like really close friends. I do feel like, because like you said, we had things in common, but they weren't on the surface yet because we haven't developed as the people that we were gonna grow into as adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that gap where we weren't friends with each other was really important because I feel like if we were friends in that gap where we were developing as people, that we would not be friends now and we would have said, I don't want anything to do with you because we have nothing in common. Get out, get the heck away from me. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
Like,
I don't know if that,
that's
because
just my theory, man. Like, I feel like
right.
and the friends that I've lost, um, that's, I don't know what the purpose is for that yet, but I do feel like the time that me and like, for a really good example is I just feel like the time that we weren't friends, we weren't supposed to be close to each other then. And now is the time that we were supposed to come back together and collaborate because now the things that we have in common are on the surface and that we can actually really understand each other versus then they were kind of like under the surface a little bit because we were immature. And so it just, maybe it would have worked out, but maybe not. But like now it definitely works out because we can work together and, be actual friends that are helping each other versus then it was just kind of like buddies that kind of like jab at each other, how we were talking about before. And that's kind of like as far as it went a lot of times. So,
oh yeah,
I feel like now that I feel that way about things and I can actually see like examples in my life of where it just works out perfectly as long as I take my hands off and allow it to, it gives me a much bigger peace of mind when I don't have a friend that I thought I was going to, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what the plan is here, but I've seen the plan play out before perfectly. And so if I'm not supposed to have this friend right now, I just need to take my hands off of it and not be stressed out about it or worried. And I just have so much more peace about knowing that. And if I'm never supposed to be friends with that person again, that's okay, because I'm going to, first of all, see them again in heaven, hopefully. And, maybe there's just a bigger plan that's happening on their end that I can't see because I'm just doing me and walking my path.
Well, and there's,
so it doesn't eat me anymore. So now I'm back to where I started, but with a full picture.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if,
because that really made me think, man. I had been friends with that person because that's a specific person. I had been friends with them for 18 years. And it took me a long time to come to grips with that. And I really looked at my friendships and I'm like, I really had to think about what a friend is. So that's the conclusion that I've drawn from that instance. That hurt me, man. That hurt me. It really did.
Well, it hurt both of us. I think in different ways, same ways in different ways, and I mean this is why I don't know. We hold
This is
that
water, by the
common.
way.
Yeah.
Out of a beer mug.
um, I mean, we both kind of went through the same thing, and I think the answer for that situation specifically is that there was nothing that we could do to change the situation. It's something that the other person has to do to change the situation, and unfortunately, it's letting them go and letting them go and learn the hard way. And maybe someday they'll come back around on this side of the earth, and maybe, hopefully, like you said, it's an eternity, and
You never know, dude.
you can,
You
yeah,
just never know. You wanna believe that you know, but you don't.
yeah,
I don't really
yeah,
like pop music, but there's, and I don't remember like the real line, like the real quote of wisdom, but there's a pop song that's like based on it, and he's like, "Only learn to love them when you let her go," or something like that. You know that song?
no, I don't.
Only learn to love her when you let her go, and yeah, it applies to friends too, man. You gotta let people go sometimes and experience their own thing. You want to hold on to them
Yeah.
and be like, no, dude, like, trust me. But I can't be trusted. I'm just a person. So you got to let
Yeah.
them go and do their own thing, learn their own path.
Yeah, but the other thing that you said, in that, we're in the right moment, the right places that we need to be in, the right situation. What you said is something that a good friend of mine, um, or I call him a good friend of mine, and I'm sure he would say the same about me. Guy who went to our church, I knew him since I was little, and unfortunately, um, he went home. Uh, he went to heaven last year, but he
Do I know
always
him or
you might, you
maybe?
might. Um, anyways, he always would say, stuff, philosophical stuff like that, and it just reminded me of him when you said that, because that's one of the lines that, we are in, like, so on Wednesday nights at prayer meeting or something, he would say sometimes, we are here or in this exact moment because that's where we're supposed to be in this exact moment,
Mhm.
you know. And
We're always so busy thinking ahead or thinking back or thinking back. So few people are actually thinking about now. Always
yeah,
future or past. We're always thinking about one of those things, but never like.
we can never think about the present. And I think, and that's so important too.
Isn't that
Like,
why people? Don't you think that's why people gravitate so much toward podcasts in the recent years? Because there's so much anxiety in the world now, and I feel like when we were kids, dude, podcasts never would have been popular. But young people are listening to podcasts now, and I feel like they like it because it's just a couple guys that are actually focused on the now and having a meaningful conversation. People are so focused on the past or the future that they don't have meaningful conversations in their lives. So they would rather like listen to someone talk about something. And they're like, these guys are in the now, even if they don't realize it. Like, yeah, I agree with that guy.
sorry about that.
No, that's good.
What um can you What was that last thing you just said? I do apologize.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, like, because everyone's so focused on the past and present that they don't actually have meaningful conversations because they're so. I think you. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I do feel like a lot of our conversations are because people are distracted, that they're very shallow, and so I think people gravitate toward podcasts. Young people who don't have any business watching a podcast, to be real, but they like it because they're not getting any of that in their lives. And
Yeah,
you
I
have to
think.
be really present. Like, you have to really be thinking about the present to have a meaningful conversation in a podcast in the first place. Otherwise, we would be
Well,
sitting
and
here like struggling for words if we were thinking
yeah,
about things like that.
yeah, I think.
Like, I'm not thinking about how many people are going to see this or something like that. I'm just thinking about what you're asking me and telling me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, for the most part, yes. I mean, there are other podcasts that that focus on different areas, of the past or the future,
Hmm.
that are out there. But yeah, I would say I think it's because of where we are right now as a consumer group. Like, more is more type of thing. And I think there's a very, like, we're in a very weird medium as far as podcasts go. And I don't know how many good Christian podcasts there are out there. I mean, there are some really good ones like Hey, We're the Luscos, or uh I want to say the name right. Um well, yeah, well, that's good, by Sadie Robertson. Uh she has a fantastic podcast. I've listened to it before. So I think, like, we're in that weird medium of to be out there and to have those meaningful conversations. I think we personally as Christians take this more seriously, like wanting to have a meaningful conversation,
Hmm.
um because it's important and because there's so much consumption out there that is, like, not eh, not good for people, if you know what I mean. Like, I mean, it's sort of sad to see, like, where the world is now and how much people consume, and with everyone's eyes set to Hollywood.
Yeah. Not even,
Like,
not even now, man. Now it's like TikTok
right.
and stuff. People don't even care about Hollywood anymore. That's how crazy it's gotten. Like, a
I
little
wouldn't say
bit.
that.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. They
because
do. But TikTok is like,
if you
man,
look
it's
at
out
it, I
there.
mean, there's, literally the top podcasts that I know, you're talking about entertainment, or, entertainment news,
That's fair. That's fair.
stuff like that. I mean, that's oversaturated to my point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And um, what else?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Hollywood is still big. It's just, you know, like, I guess it's just not as big. It's more spread out now. You know what I mean? Like you don't hear about. I mean, I guess I'm a little detached, so I'm probably just
Yeah,
rambling. But like, I don't feel like you have those mega stars anymore. You know, like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Like, you got a lot of that audience spread out throughout like YouTube and TikTok and things like that now, so that like
Yeah.
they're still superstars, but I just don't feel like they're mega stars like they used to be.
Yeah, and that's what
Maybe,
I
except for
I feel so
Lizzo.
bad.
Maybe Lizzo is something like that. I don't know.
It would be. Um, I forgot who I was listening to, but I gotta try to find and reference, maybe talk to you about it on another episode. But
Dude,
pretty
anytime you
much,
want me on here, I'm on.
yeah, that's good. Um, I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about um people want to be famous, especially in today's society. You have people, um children saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, back in our day, not to make us sound old, but we still had the common answers, like, firefighter, policeman, sports star, rock star, the pretty common, what do you want to be, the cool jobs,
Hmm.
you know. And today kids get asked that question and they want to be famous, but they don't know what they want to be famous for. They just want to be famous.
Dude,
Would be
that's
their answer.
scary, man. It's
That
terrifying, but true.
that is absolutely scary. And
If you
the
don't know
fact
what you
that
want to be famous for, then that means that you're like that next person that does something crazy online and gets yourself
right,
hurt or someone else. There's so
right,
many stories like that.
yeah. And this person was talking about, and if I find it, I can link it at some point. But the person was talking about, like, it's scary. The answers were like, I don't know, I just want to be famous, insta famous.
Yeah.
I don't care what I'm famous for. And so now we have this generation that's grown up, really, where I'd say about two generations in, that's really grown up with, and really the third one is just coming up, that's grown up with TikTok and social media.
Hmm.
Like, because everyone needs to understand, back when you and I were growing up, we had, for social media, MySpace.
Yeah.
And MySpace, like, that was the only social media out there. Facebook didn't come into the picture close until we graduated high school.
Dude, sorry, I heard a funny joke today. No, not today. I think yesterday. Uh, was it Ben Shapiro? It might have been Ben Shapiro, where he was like, maybe that's who's behind Twitter's downfall. Maybe Tom realized that he was so good at sabotaging a company like MySpace that Twitter hired Tom to sabotage them as well.
Oh man, that, bro. I have a better joke. You know, it was kind of hilarious because this is how I remember the rise and fall of MySpace. So, like, our sophomore, junior, senior year, somewhere in there, that's when MySpace was at its peak
Hmm.
and everything. And then the Afters, you ever hear that band?
No, never.
Um,
Maybe after I can listen to them.
yeah, the Afters come out with this song called "MySpace Girl."
Hmm.
It was literally a song about MySpace and meeting a girl on MySpace. And shortly after that song came out, I say MySpace died.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I always found that hilarious.
Where's Alex Jones when you need him?
Uh, don't know, bro. What is it? BitChute? Oh.
If I could only do the. See, what happened was that the afters played on MySpace, and then they killed the website on purpose.
Yeah, but I mean, and those are the days too. And I think eHarmony was just getting started up, stuff like that. Internet data. Netflix was you rent the movie,
Mm-hmm.
you waited in the mail.
Yeah,
You got the movie,
Redbox.
you sent it back. Redbox wasn't a thing yet. Yeah. If it was a thing, we didn't have it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Off topic, real quick. I don't know about your area, but our red boxes no longer have video games.
Dude, I haven't. Well, okay, no. We have Redboxes. Yeah, no. They stopped doing that, man. I think they completely stopped doing video games altogether. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know the theory, but
Yeah, they because I noticed they started selling the video games, and I actually bought a few of them. I think the last game that I bought from a Redbox was Call of Duty Black Ops 3. And
okay.
because I just started noticing that they were like selling the video games in the red boxes for super cheap, and it wasn't long after that that they completely just didn't have any video games at all. So yeah, I think they're done with that completely.
I know that was so random, but I didn't know if that was. And
Yeah,
my theory is
I don't know why.
Well,
Yeah,
no, because everyone would take them out, like the new game would come out, and the theory is you take it out and you bring it back after a certain amount of days. If you don't bring it back within a certain amount of time, you keep it, it's yours. So I know people that would do this if the new game came out, let's say Call of Duty. New Call of Duty, I think one of the ones I rented from there was Modern Warfare 3.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, you rent that, you keep it. Now they charge you $60 if you don't return it, or $65-$70 for the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, if you do the math in your head, and people would say this to me, oh, well, if it cost me $60 to get this game and $10 to drive out there and back, then I'm spending $70 anyway, so why not keep it? And I just think they weren't getting their games back.
That's rough, man.
And they must, they could have been making money on it. Like,
it's always someone spoils it for everyone else. The bad egg spoils the bunch. I don't know, whatever. What the bad apple spoils the bunch, something like that. It's always the same.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Man. Well, yeah. This has been loads of fun. I'm trying to think. I guess I'll ask you this. One last question before we sign off.
Okay.
So what encouragement, would you give to a friend, that may be going through tough times? I guess is the best question I can ask.
I'm refining this.
Okay,
because
you refine it all you want.
I have to give quick advice to a lot of people. I don't. It kind of stinks, man, because I really want to develop my business in a way that I'm actually able to like sit down with someone and like talk about problems and not just brush through them in a training session.
Mm-hmm.
So the quickest
I guess,
way that I
yeah.
came up with, and it's a little dark, and I don't know if it's bad or not yet. I'm kind of testing it. Is that I heard this recently. They interviewed a lot of people that jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, and survived, because I guess the Brooklyn Bridge is like really famous for people killing themselves, man, and that's suicide is like a really big problem, especially among men. Like men kill themselves pretty much exclusively. Um, eh, that's probably a bad way to put it, but maybe like way more than women,
Yeah,
way
well,
more than women. And
not to join into this dark fest real quick, but I mean, yeah, I guess if I ever got to that state and in just the realm of the multiverse, let's just say, ever got to that state and were to jump off of something, I probably choose the Brooklyn Bridge or a bridge because, I mean, if there's water underneath, there's a 50-50 chance. I just. Okay, go on.
okay, terrible,
I'm going to stop.
terrible. All right, so this is the advice that I would give to someone who's like going through a really hard time.
Mhm.
Is that things might okay, I'll finish the story. So they interviewed, because not everyone dies, so they interviewed the people that survived. And obviously if you're going to jump off something like that, then your problems look impossible, and you think you just found the only way out.
Mhm.
And they say that every person that survived jumping off the bridge realized something similar to this effect when they were plummeting toward the bottom. That only up until this moment have I realized that everything that was a problem, big or small, in my life could have been solved except for this problem right here. Me falling off this.
Hmm.
That's what I heard. And so basically, if you think that your problems are so big, that's because you're in them right now. And if you were falling off the bridge right now, you would come to the same realization. So just take that advice that you heard from those people that were interviewed, take a step back, take a deep breath, and just wait it out. Just wait out the storm, I guess. If I had to like give general advice to someone without knowing the context.
Yeah, that's really good, man. That's really good. So, yeah, where one more time, where can they find you? Where can people find you? And or I should say,
Um,
yeah, you go ahead. And then
you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. Don't look on Facebook. You can find me there too, but I'm not really active there. Just search Fox Physique, FOX
okay.
space FHYSIQUE, just spelled the normal way, nothing special.
Whoa.
And you can find me on those
What?
platforms.
I might have to cut that out. Hold on. No, I don't want to. Okay. Bro, you spelled that wrong.
What do you mean?
It's spelled with a P. You said F.
No, I said FOXPHYSIQUE.
Bro, I can roll back this clip
Did
at
I?
any moment. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
So cut that. And where can they find you?
I can't believe I spelled that wrong. Okay, so anyway, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram and technically Facebook under Fox Physique, just spelled the normal way.
Right. So go check him out on YouTube, on Instagram, and maybe Facebook. we'll try to get him active on there. And
And maybe eventually
me-
Spotify. I don't know.
yeah. You
Maybe.
can find Steel and Juna podcast on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube, iTunes, wherever maybe you listen to your podcasts. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, brother. I hope to have you on again real soon.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for having me on. It's always a
Anytime.
joy.
Anytime. Bro, that was going good until the end.